Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel once again, and today I am presenting you with a bonus video that has to deal with various stones that I work with. Well, the other ones were for each individual chakras, but today I have a bunch of stones that work with multiple or even all of the chakras at one time. So I'm actually a little bit excited about this video. When I thought of it, I was like, ooh, it's gonna be awesome kind of thing. So let's go ahead. I will grab my notes and we will get started right away. So the first stone I'm going to start off with is called Tanzanite. And this is kind of a rough piece I have. It's mostly blue with, I don't know, kind of a faded gray outer color to it. But yeah, it's not a bad stone. The reason why it's called Tanzanite is because I believe it's only located in Tanzania, this stone. So that's probably why they called it that. But this stone works with the crown, third eye, and throat chakra all at the same time. So it works with 3 different chakras, the 3 highest chakras. It says it right here. Works with the higher chakras, helps strengthen the immune system, has a high vibration, not surprised, great for deep meditation, unites mind and heart, and calms and soothes. So connects mind and heart. So when we start doing the spiritual work and such, or you're someone who gets introduced to this kind of information, it's like, I want to start developing my psychic abilities and psychic communication, all that. You generally start focusing on like the 3 higher chakras, right? And that's fine and all, because that's where all that kind of work is. But most of the time, and I was guilty of this when I first started as well, is when we focus on our top 3 chakras all the time, we completely neglect the other 4. We got the lower 3, the solar, sacral, and root, and then we have the heart, which is the middle of it all. The heart is actually the balance between the upper 3 and the lower 3 chakras at the same time. And so this stone helps to connect or unite the 3 higher chakras with the heart chakra, because you want to have that balance when you're doing this kind of work. Okay, so very powerful stone, great to use. We're going to move on to the next one called Angelite. Alright, it kind of reminds me of like a baby bird blue. It also, the shape of this one reminds me of like one of them Easter egg candies you'd find during that holiday, and it just kind of has like that outer shell. I'm trying to get it to where you can see it, because all over this blue are these white specks all throughout it. There you go. That's probably the best I'm gonna get, but you can see these white flakes or white specks all over the blue in there. But this is Angelite, and there's a reason why they call it Angelite. I will explain it to you right now. First off, it works with the crown, third eye, and throat chakra, just like the Tanzanite does. This one has a calming, peaceful, and soothing energy. It aids in connection to angels, aids in channeling and mediumship, as well as communication, and aids healing in more holistic ways. Well, that's a good quality too. I mean, I don't know, if you're someone, I've run into a lot of people with the same story where they start getting into holistic medicine because they've tried every other avenue that was available to them with Western medicine, which people are quickly finding out nowadays is nowhere near as reliable as it once was or ever was. To me, Western medicine is very archaic, even barbaric at times. I mean, chemotherapy is definitely the top of the list with that. There's many other ways to cure or whatever you want to call it, that particular ailment. And chemotherapy is by far the worst idea everyone's ever come up with, and the fact that it's still a thing is mind-blowing. But anyways, moving on from that, when people come to people like myself and people who run holistic shops and they're like, I'm looking for other ways of healing whatever it is that ails me, that's generally how it starts. Like half the time we introduce them to stones, we introduce them to like sage, incense, Reiki, crystal healing, this, that, the other. There's like 100 or 1,000 different things we can introduce them to. But it would be a great idea to introduce them to this, because this aids healing in more holistic ways. So it's like, if you're going to pursue that path, what does it hurt to have like a little booster for your experience, you know? But the other reason why this is called Angelite is because, well, I don't know 100% if, you know, we have all these higher level beings that we talk about communicating with, interdimensional, extra dimensional, whatever. I don't know if they're all the same thing, but we just identify them in different ways because it's just kind of how we better understand and comprehend that level of knowledge. Or if there's actually true, honest to God differences between them all. Like, you know, you have source, you have universe, you have angels, you have higher selves, you have ascended masters, you have spirit guides, spirit animals, this, that, the other. You have all these different other kinds of beings out there. Well, this one specifically is geared towards communicating with angel or angelic beings. I actually had a time, probably about a year ago, where, I mean, I thought I had faith, but when I really looked inward and reflected upon it, I felt like I didn't have the proper amount of faith for the kind of work, spiritual work, that I do. So I actually made a pouch. Like, I got a cloth pouch and I put like 6 or 7 different stones in it that dealt with faith, or, you know, aiding in communication with angels or higher beings and such, but mainly just faith. And this, I can't remember any of the other stones except for maybe clear quartz, but this was the number one stone I put in that pouch and kept it with me because it made the most sense. It's Angelite, angels. People think of angels, they think of faith, they think of religion maybe, but they think of Christianity, faith, and all that. So it just made sense. It's a great stone. Alright, so if you ever come across it, use it. It's amazing. Alright, so next on the list, I have this spectacular little specimen here. Is called Quatro. Alright, it's mainly this milky white stone, but it has this amazing blue and turquoise that goes throughout the majority of the stone. And there's a reason, well, I think there's 2 reasons why it's called Quatro. The first reason, and the one I like more, is that this is associated with the top 4 chakras. It goes from the crown, third eye, throat, to heart. And it unites all 4 of those chakras in alignment with each other to do higher level work. The other reason why it's called Quatro, which quantum, by the way, is Quatro is Spanish or Hispanic for 4. So, you know, 4 chakras. This is also made of 4 different types of stones or minerals or materials. And let's see what they are. Shatukite. I've honestly never heard of that stone. I've never seen it, know nothing about it. It's completely new to me. But Shatukite, Smoky Quartz, Chrysocolla, which I might have mentioned in one of my other videos, but I don't have a lot of chrysocolla, so if I haven't, that's probably why. And malachite. So malachite is in this as well, but as far as I know, I've mentioned the toxicity that's in malachite in its raw form as well as its tumbled form. As far as I know, none of that is in here. It's probably such a minute amount of malachite that's mixed in that, you know, that is either completely non-existent or it's a negligible amount that no matter what, it won't hurt you or bother you or make you sick or anything like that. But this is a powerful stone. I carried this around with me for months, and I experienced quite a lot of interesting effects. It is known as the crystal of truth, communication, and intuition. It is deeply peaceful, loving, and protective, and it helps in releasing blocked negative emotions. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's a good stone, very powerful. I don't want to say it's rare, but you don't come across it at every single holistic stone crystal shop you go to. I believe we had to special order these when we first discovered them. When I say we, I've mentioned before I used to work at a holistic shop nearby in town, and we did, used to order these, but they still do, and I think it's always there. It's always at the store, so it's more of like a regular thing now. But this is good for doing, higher communication work, working with your psychic abilities, trying to come from the heart space. Like we're, as a species and a society, we're mainly focused on coming from a head space. We use logic rather than feeling or empathy or intuition. And so this helps to bridge that gap between both the logical mind, 333, and the heart space that humans, I believe that's what we are evolving into, going through an ascension process that I mentioned in a previous video, is we are going to become beings who are feeling based. We are going to communicate not so much through telepathy, because when people think of telepathy, it's with the mind, and we can do that. That is a thing. But we're going to become a species that communicates more using feeling and empathic means of communication. We're going to feel how we feel. But we're going to let other people know how we feel through feeling. Like, there may come a time, it's probably going to be like maybe like hundreds of years from now, several generations, I have no idea, but it's going to get to the point where humans might not even use their voices anymore. We might not use our mouths to communicate as much or at all, because there won't be any need to. Speaking is how we communicate in this level of reality, this density, third density. We talk. That's how we get our ideas across. But a lot of, from testimonies I've heard, a lot of extraterrestrial species out there, or higher level beings who use telepathy or empathic abilities to communicate and convey messages, have talked about how annoying and frustrating it is trying to communicate on this level where we use verbal communication, because to them is so much slower to communicate. When you do telepathy, you can get like paragraphs out in like seconds, whereas with words, it's like a few words a second. So it's much slower. When you think about it like that, like that's how much slower it is. And same with empathic communication. You could just throw a whole paragraphs of communication out there, maybe even like an entire story out there in just a few seconds using that instead of blah blah blah. So when it gets to the point where we're doing the same thing, we'll probably look back and be like, oh my god, that was so much slower. But we're getting ahead of ourselves once again. So I'm going to move on. Alright, so Azeztulite. This is actually a stone I got not too long ago, like maybe a month and a half ago I got this stone. But Azeztulite. I thought it was Azeztulite, but it doesn't have an H. Azeztulite. 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 There you go. Alright. This stone, alright, so the first two had 3 chakras they were associated with. The last one, Quantum Quatro, had 4 chakras it was associated with. This stone is associated with all 7 chakras. This is Angelite. It is a milky white color. This is a rough form. The camera's probably not doing good on like the texture of it, but it's pretty much rough. I feel like when I like rub my finger against it, like I almost kind of pull off a powdery layer of it, but it doesn't. It just feels that way. So it is a white stone, and I'll go ahead and say it, like majority of the stones that are associated with like all 7 chakras are either white or clear, like clear quartz, which is on this list, and we're going to get to that later on. But this stone provides a spiraling protective energy that surrounds one's soul essence and physical body at the same time. Physical ascension raises kundalini energies, expands consciousness, and lifts spiritual growth quickly. So if you're impatient like me, I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign, I can be impatient. Alright? So part of the reason why I got this was mainly for the kundalini energy thing, because that's part of, like, I'll call it like a side project, but there's other stuff I'm working on when I'm not doing Reiki work, trying to continue my spiritual progress and such. Kundalini energies is one of the few things I'm working on or focusing on right now. So that's why I got this stone. But, lifts spiritual growth quickly. I can't complain about that. I'm sure there's probably people out there that would be like, well, you don't want to grow it too quickly. You want to do it gradually, so you get to a certain point and you can take time getting used to that, and when you feel you're good, then you can move on to the next one. And that's probably true. That's a wise way of going about it. But to be honest, time is speeding up, whether we realize it or not. Time as we know it is accelerating, and it's happening steadily, but enough to where like we don't catch on to it like happening. But I've talked to so many people, even people who aren't into the spiritual topics that I'm into, who have mentioned like the past 4 or 5 years especially, they're like, is it me or does it seem like the last few years have gone by really quickly? And it's not like a lot of people say stuff like that. It's like, man, the last 10 years just flew by. And in a sense, that's how they perceive it. But that's how it feels, because you're so busy with your life that 10 years, when you're in the middle of it, you're like, man, it's taking a while. But when you get to the end, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad, But the perspective that everyone I talk to comes from when they say that, in the last, 5 years, I'll say, is that it's not like that at all. It's like literally like the last 5 years feels like it's gone by in like half the time it normally would have. And they would be correct, because as we are preparing for our ascension process, all the energy around us, not just outside of our bodies, but just the planet, our solar system, the sun itself, all the energy around us on that cosmic level is increasing everything in this reality. And that's what's pushing us towards ascension or spiritual evolution, us evolving to a higher state of consciousness. And that's also causing time to accelerate. Things are getting faster. We are moving faster. If you notice, like, technology and stuff like that around us is accelerating so quickly. Like, what would take like hundreds of years got to where it was taking like maybe a couple of decades. And now what came out, like when internet came out in like the 80s and 90s, you had that level of technology, and within like a decade you had like computers on cell phones and stuff like that. And then like another 5 to 10 years after that, phones got smaller and they held more, and it just kept getting more and more insane. Technology is accelerating in its growth so rapidly that we can't actually keep up, And it doesn't matter that level of technology that we have now is actually going to become obsolete within our lifetimes, no doubt. But anyways, time is accelerating because, well, from my understanding, everything I've learned in the past 10 years in the spiritual work that I do is that when we ascend to the fourth density, like I said before, I'm more familiar with density. Not saying that fifth dimension isn't accurate, it's just not what I'm familiar with. But anyways, when we ascend to the next level of consciousness, time's going to be completely different than what we know it now. Time as we know it now is linear. Past, present, future. It's always seems to be going in one direction. It's linear. With where we're going, it's all going to be at the same time. We're going to exist right here, and we're going to have the past, present, and future all happening all at once. And I know, trying to think about that right now, even I am still trying to comprehend how that works, but I think that's more like something we're just going to have to get into it and experience it and just be like, okay, this is how it works. Not that big a deal. Might even be a little scary at first, who knows, but that's just where we're going to. So if you're watching this kind of content, if you're watching my video, then you're probably one of those people that are already on board with that, or you're getting introduced to it, and hey, I'm happy to introduce this kind of subject material to you. So I'm going to move on because I got 2 more stones I want to go through before I finish this video. So the next one I'm going to go over is called Manifest Light. And it too works with all 7 of the chakras. It looks like clear quartz, and the camera angle is making it look blurry. I'll try to pull back some. I don't know, it's just... But there's little specks. There's a little silver... Oh, that's it. You could probably see them on the surface somewhat. There's like silver specks. Yeah, that's probably the best spot I can show, is like, especially in this prism here. You can probably see like silver specks. One of these days I'm going to get a much better camera than what I have. Trust me, I swear. But anyways, so I can't remember what the silver specks are, but they're what gives this its various properties. Other than that, this is clear quartz. Clear quartz was mixed in with these silver specks, making it manifest light. It is ideal for initiating light body activation and keeping it anchored with the physical body. Very useful tool this is. Safe and subtle activation of Kundalini energies, and ideal for initiating new levels of spiritual growth. So this is all about spiritual growth. This is all about activating your higher energies, your light body. It even said that. And not only is it activating your light body, but it's helping to keep it anchored to your physical body, which is great, because if you're someone who gets into this kind of work and you start doing like astral projection, right? And you get to where you're actually doing that quite proficiently, or you're doing it quite often. One of the things that can happen is, if you're not trained enough, or if you're not familiar enough with it, or if you're just, I don't want to say unlucky, but it just happens, when you try to reconnect or rejoin with your physical body. I mean, you still do, like, it's gonna reconnect, and recalibrate and get back into the physical body. But if you do it correctly, it will happen like as soon as you do it. As soon as you get back into the body, you'll be like in there, and it'll seal back up, and you'll sync back up, and you'll be fine. You can get up and be like, that was fun, and then go about your day. But if you don't do it properly or whatever, then it will get back into your body, but it won't be like entirely anchored to your body. It will still be kind of like, and you will feel discombobulated. You'll be like, and moving around, you might feel, I don't want to say dizzy, but just your equilibrium will probably be off. Energetically, you'll feel kind of off. You might not be able to like communicate properly. You might stutter for a little bit. It's nothing that becomes permanent, and it's nothing that lasts for very long. It's just you didn't reconnect to yourself properly when you came back in, so your astral form is pretty much going to have to do it on its own, which it can do. A lot of things that we do both energetically and in our physical bodies is done subconsciously. Digesting food is done subconsciously. Obviously when breathing can be done consciously and subconsciously. Majority of the time it's subconscious. It just breathes on its own. But there's many other hair growing, fingernails growing, like multiple forms, all your major vital organs, everything that they do, that's subconscious. You don't focus most of your time on making your body do what it does, because if we did, then we would have no time to focus on living life and learning what we're supposed to learn here. That's why our physical bodies were designed to work that way. Most of our bodily functions are done subconsciously, so we don't have to, Anyways, this helps. So when you do start doing that kind of work, astral projection, light body activation, things like that, it will be better anchored to your body, so you won't have to experience that discombobulation and discomfort or whatever. So, and it's good for Kundalini energies. Another reason why I got it, but I want to do this kind of work as well. That's something I want to get into, and that's one of the main reasons why I got this stone. Incredible stone, very powerful stone. I can feel its energies as I'm holding it, and I'm actually going to put it down now because, well, my fingers are tingling yet, but it might get to the point where they start doing that. So I have one more stone on this list, and I'm going to try to make it brief because we're almost at 30 minutes. But you've heard me talk about this one before in several of the other videos, and it's gotten brought up sometime in your life, even before you knew stones were a thing. And I have 3 specimens of it. This is clear quartz. It is the basic quartz, or this is the foundation of the quartz family. This one has a lot of specks in it, but is not manifest light. I think that's just some kind of debris from wherever it was dug up from or excavated from. I think it's just like the dirt, minerals that was in the area around it, because usually crystals are found in caves and such, but not always. Sometimes they're in the ground itself, and sometimes they're in the dirt. But it's beautiful. And most of the pieces I have have the termination point on them, right? And they always have these prismatic sides to them. Things are beautiful. I love them. These, if you haven't guessed already, these work with all 7 of the chakras as well. This is my favorite piece. I've had this one probably the longest. It was the first clear quartz I ever got. The other 2 were gifted to me by a friend of mine. I want to say shortly after I got certified as a Reiki Master Healer. But yeah, clear quartz. You see right through it. It's amazing stuff. Clear quartz is a powerful healer, or a healing stone. And I think I said it before, I use these. They are with me even if I don't directly use them with my Reiki clientele when I work on them. They're still around just for the amplifying healing energy that these things have and promote. Regulates and amplifies energies, unblocks energies. I can go more into that later. Protects from radiation. I'm assuming that means like EMFs and such. I don't know if it protects from straight up radiation. I am not going to try and find that out on my own. But apparently it protects from radiation. So very powerful stone. Dispels static. Has ability to dissolve karmic seeds, stimulates the immune system, and soothes burns. Now, this one and one of the other stones I went through earlier talks about stimulating the immune system. Given what we've been experiencing in the last 15 months, and you know what I'm talking about, a lot of hype was around, boosting the immune system, right? Because that's how you catch that particular thing was having a low immune system or a weak immune system. So having a stone like this and the other one, and I'm going to go back and look because I can't remember which one it was, but oh, maybe it wasn't. No, here it is, Tanzanite. So this and Tanzanite help strengthen the immune system. Okay? And yeah, you could just carry these on you. You don't have to wear them in anything fancy like this or whatever, but you know, just have them on your person. Just put them in your pocket. As long as it is within your etheric or energetic body, you're still going to receive the energy from the particular stones in question. So that's one way people could have done to help, you know, protect against that. Another thing, the person who owns the store that I used to work at, she makes a lot of jewelry using stones and stuff like that, and she made this 7 bead, kind of like a chakra pendant, but each one of these stones had to do with something that, you know, fought off flu symptoms, or helped strengthen the immune system, or helped clean out like the blood. I think bloodstone is one of them. I can't remember the other 6, and I would have to find mine to try to, which you know, I can't do that in this video. But anyways, so that was something she did, and a lot of people loved it. A lot of people gravitated towards it and such, you know, to help protect us against that thing that was oh so bad. But anyways, don't want to keep talking about that. I just want to talk about these stones here. And well, now I'm done. That's it. That was a clear quartz, and you know, I've enjoyed making these videos, and I thought this was going to be a fun one because it had to do with, I want to say special stones, but they're definitely unique in the fact that they work with more than just 1 or even 2 chakras. They work with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chakras. They just do a lot of work, and they're powerful stones, every single one of them. And if anything I told you today about these stones resonates with you, then by all means go by your local or nearest holistic store and check it out. If any of this resonates with you, it means something. You're being called to something for some reason. Don't ignore it. Follow it. Follow your heart, my friend. Follow your heart. That's all I have for you for today, and I will see you in the next video, which I'm hoping to do outside this time. I've done all these indoors, but it makes sense. All my stones, crystals, and tools are inside the house, so it just made sense to go ahead and do it here. But anyways, that's it for this video, and if you're still with me, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for listening to me, and I have gratitude for this exchange that we are having right now. I will see you in the next video, and I love you all. Goodbye.